So there's this thing on Artfight where sometimes, alongside whatever characters a user has available for you to draw, they will also have the option for artists to create them a brand new OC as an attack. I'd wanted to do this for a really long time, and I'd been seeing people do it. And I actually found somebody, northwestfur, who had recently drawn me a really, really pretty piece of fell. I love this so much. Just look at her, she's so pure, I love her. He had the option available on his page that you could draw him a brand new character, and you know your girl had to get a bit of revenge anyway, so kill two birds with one stone, why not? The rules I set for myself for creating OCs was that one, I had to leave my comfort zone, meaning no more furries, you little degenerate, it's literally all you draw. Everything I've drawn this year has fallen into the furry or dangerously furry category, and the whole idea of this was that I would branch out, so, you know, I had to stop avoiding that. And then rule number 2, don't get attached. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. So let's see how I did. Obviously the first thing to start with is what kind of OCs northwestfur was interested in. They'd listed a couple of aesthetics and species and just things that they liked in characters as part of the profile. The things that stuck out to me were they had this kind of vaporwave or retrowave style that they liked. They also liked screen face characters, which are kind of, I don't know if you've ever seen them. They'll have like a computer or a screen as a face. Self-explanatory. They also really liked space aesthetics. So I mashed all 3 of those things together to make this little abomination. They also liked kind of like uncanny or creepy designs, which I'm so down with. So I went for this fairly humanoid, slightly lanky build, but with these extra arms and this kind of monstrous appearance. And also, if you've noticed, I'm drawing this from scratch. I'm showing you the entire process. Mainly just because I think, you know, if we're designing an OC, I want you to be on board for the whole journey of that. In retrospect, I think it would have been very good to do some little thumbnail sketches of what I had in mind. Nothing that would take more than 5 minutes, but just to play around with different forms and build on ideas that I had, and kind of get a more interesting pose than I picked for this one. When you're designing new characters, it's going to be a lot of editing that goes into that, taking away features and adding new ones, and I didn't really give myself the chance to do that by moving straight into a full, fully shaded, fully coloured background piece. So I think that's definitely a way I could have improved. Now, as for the actual character, I had a couple of little kind of, I don't know what you call them, like personality traits or story things that I had in mind. Essentially, he is a computer virus. The story that I was going with while drawing him was that he was originally a hacker who found a way to kind of enter the digital realm, but due to spending so much time fully immersed in there, he became part of the software himself and he could no longer escape. I imagine he jumps from system to system, kind of transmitting himself via email or other malicious links in order not to get removed after being discovered by antivirus software, which would also be really fun to kind of personalize and add a face to. And while he does live across multiple systems, his main kind of base, per se, is the original laptop that he entered through. I imagine he lives in a sort of slightly rundown shack with just random little objects and things that he's stolen from the internet and from games. He's able to kind of take the code out of one game for like a really cool car or something, and then he has that in his own system for him to use. Kind of the same goes for like food as well. He can just Google what he wants and he can kind of eat images in that sense, even though I'm pretty sure he wouldn't need to eat in this form. In terms of personality, I would say that he doesn't take his job very seriously, or is just bad at it. I can imagine him being quite eccentric and sort of trolly, if that makes sense. I can imagine him messing with his old co-workers by just sending them like stupid adware or Just messing with that computer's enough that it is fixable, but it's just incredibly annoying or humiliating. I'm not watching a live playback of what I'm drawing while I'm recording this, but if I've gotten to the stage of making him look quite pixelated and glitchy, I'd like to think that's due to some kind of deterioration that his physical body is experiencing from being in a realm that he is not supposed to be in, some sort of virus per se, and perhaps those arms sticking out of his back are part of the virus, or I don't know, become larger and multiply or whatever the more the virus takes hold. Still got to work that one out, but it kind of mirrors the mental deterioration that he also experiences just due to sheer loneliness and not being able to find a way out. He ended up looking a little more like an astronaut than I would have liked, but I'm kind of into it. I like the space theme. I ended up getting very attached to him, and I think you know what comes next. I couldn't give him up. I'm sorry. I know I broke the rule, but he's so... there's so much more I could do with this. And I'm not like fully sold on his design or the way I coloured him. Definitely not the colours. Oh my god. They need to change. But I don't know. I really liked the idea of it, and I wasn't done with him yet. I didn't feel like he was complete enough to send to somebody. So North, if you're watching, I hope you didn't like him too much so that you don't mind. But there is hope. There is hope. Also, unrelated note, he still needs a name, so if you've got any ideas, definitely leave them in the comments. I was thinking something like, I don't know, like a chain of letters and numbers, something like, I don't know, like X2Y or 2CB or like 0 or... Is 2CB a drug? Wait a minute.
A few moments later.
Oh god, okay, yeah, 2CB is a drug. That one's gotta go. But, you know, you get the gist of what I'm going for. So here he is. Here's the boy. Obviously though, I couldn't stop there. I'd already committed to making a revenge for northwestfur. So I went digging again in their character preferences, and I remembered that they really liked food-themed OCs. I think it was food or fruit, but it was namely like strawberries and peaches or something. And so that was the starting ground for this little guy. His name is Parfait. He's a strawberry-themed Samoyed dog. And no, this doesn't break rule 1. He's not a furry. He's he's a dog, okay? I'm allowed. North also had this other cute character, kind of based on the same, like, animal crossed with a fruit. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't know. My guess is as good as yours. His name is Sherbet, and I thought, even though it wasn't my intention to make them so similar, I decided I'd draw him too. I tried to kind of branch out of my usual style and do a more like, I don't know, like an aesthetic-y, lineless style, keeping everything on separate layers so that I could have a lot more control over shading and shadows and light without turning it into too much of a, you know, like a massive project. Though I do find that the kind of lineless style is a little bit more difficult in that it requires a lot more steps, and also you kind of, if you can see how many layers I've got going on there, it's a lot to keep track of. But it is very freeing in a sense. Drawing the whipped cream, kind of having it without lines, it made it look so much softer and fluffier, and I wanted the whole thing to just be very warm and soft and have kind of like lots of circular shapes, not too many angles, and just kind of enhance that level of like cuteness or, you know, whatever. Also, my gosh, why has nobody told me about using the smudge brush for fur? This is the first time I've done it, and it's so nice. It made Parfait look so much fluffier, and the whole idea was that he looked like whipped cream himself. He was so soft. That was what I was going for. Speaking of Parfait, similarly to what I did with the other OC that I created previously, I kind of had some little storylines or personality traits building up in my head for him as I was drawing him. One of them being that Parfait's paws are stained pink due to stomping the strawberries he collects into jam, which he might sell at a little stall or whatever, something cute. which is also why he wears the little slippers on his feet to protect his paws and keep them clean. I'd also like to imagine that the strawberries that grow out of his head are extra sweet and maybe have some mood-lifting properties, which, no, Ray, that does not mean they're a drug. And that they grow much faster than regular strawberries. So you could pick them and he'll have one fully grown back out of his tail or out of his head in, I don't know, like 3 days or something. I think he'd actually encourage you to pick them. I'd also thought about his relationship with Sherbet. If Northwestfur didn't already have like a separate universe and a separate story for Sherbet that doesn't really align with Parfait, and that's totally fine, but I'd imagine that they got along not particularly because Parfait was fond of cats, but because Parfait thought Sherbet was another strawberry dog. Because he's not the brightest strawberry in the basket, let's say that. But he's very wholesome. I love him. He's very cute. It was a bit of a slippery slope because I definitely felt myself getting very attached to Sherbet as well. Especially, you write stories for them and you start thinking about, oh, I could do this with them, I could do that. But that's part of the reason why I chose to draw Sherbet in here as well. Because, you can't split him up. He has to go. You can't keep him, Mae. You can't. But anyway, there you have it. Parfait and Sherbet. Parfait has gone to his new home. I think North liked him, which makes me very happy. And overall, 2 pretty good pieces of art, I'd say. I'm going to ignore the fact that the first one took me 11 hours and move on with my day. I hope you've been enjoying this style of video. I have another one coming out not too soon from now. As of recording this video, it's literally been like 2 weeks since the event ended. But, I've never been one to be punctual, and you know that by now. But if you did take part this year, I hope you had so much fun. I know I did. And so stay tuned until the next video, where you can watch me suffer because, oh my god, it is the biggest drawing I have ever made, and I regret everything. Take it easy, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, dude. I'm so nervous. Why do I get so nervous for these? So there's this thing on Artfight. No. No, it's not. I can't. So there's this thing. I can't do this. So there's this thing on Artfight where sometimes, alongside whatever, alongside whatever you, alongside whatever.